Guys, welcome back to the speedrun update series, and we start by first playing against opponent from Indonesia. We're sitting at 1598, very close to crossing 1600. We lost the first game in the last episode, so it's getting tougher. And our opponent plays something weird. He plays d4 and then immediately plays f4. Very interesting approach. We'll try to punish it. We'll play e6, we'll simply develop our pieces. My idea is maybe get my knight to e4 at some point, and maybe even try h5 ideas. And you know, h3 I might consider bishop f3, or I might consider something else. I'll play a6 just to, you know, kind of threaten this b5 move, and then still, you know, have some space advantage in the middle. His center is pretty good, but I mean, if I manage to play b5, b4, you know, manage to create counterplay, I should be alright. So let's see what he'll be doing. There are multiple things. He might just go knight bd2. There is some, you know, uncertainty going on with this bishop, because at some point he'll have to play b3 and then bishop a3. Otherwise, I mean, he's just worse. I was thinking of knight e5, but then I couldn't really understand what he will be doing after b5. Let's say queen c2, I play c4, then bishop goes back, I go bishop f5, I slide my knight to e4, and then, you know, I don't have many problems. Again, bishop e2, bishop f5, my knight goes to e4. You know, he's the one who has troubles, a lot of troubles here actually. Bishop f5, you know, we don't trade pieces, and then, you know, knight d4, and for him, he doesn't even have any plan. Like, yeah, he plays queen d1 trying to take on h5, but what if I just play h4? His only idea is at some point, yeah, try to go for this, but again, knight d4, you know, takes, then bishop f3, I might just go bishop f5 back. You know, at some point I might go knight f6, let's say takes. My idea maybe is to play f6 or knight f6, then take a knight d4 again, and then f6. So I don't have any troubles here, and of course at some point, you know, counterplay with b4, maybe play queen c7, there would be a5 before. You know, we gotta play against this pawn structure. Yeah, and he slides this way, which I don't think is the best approach, because again, you know, what if I do something like bishop d6 and then knight d7, you know, I might just take, right? And knight d5, queen c7. Otherwise, you know, I might go knight f8, and then, you know, f6 threat, or let's say queen c7, knight f8 threat is real, because f6 will be very, very, you know, uncomfortable and unpleasant. And again, he's spending a lot of time actually. He wants to find the best move, and it's understandable. Maybe at some point I might play g5, you know, just to like explode the position. Maybe queen c7 and then g5. Actually, this might work the best, because, you know, queen c7, I have the opportunity of going here, then bring my rook to g8, and then try to go for g5. But again, he will have to play a4, you know, and then maybe even b3, and try to sacrifice everything himself just to create counterplay. But let's see what he will come up with. It's not that easy for both of us, so. But I mean, still, a lot of time has been spent, 7 minutes on the clock. You know, I'm kind of bored, you're probably kind of bored, but it is what it is. Let's wait. Alright, a4 is played. That's what I was originally thinking about. And the idea is probably I have to play before. I don't have many other options. And now basically c takes before. I mean, bishop before might be the only. Oh, actually c takes before is a strong move. And this was a strong move as well, but now queen b6. And again, takes with all the pieces. Unfortunately, maybe knight before I have a5. But again, knight f8, and now f6 is a very strong move. And I'm also threatening to take on c3 with the pawn, and he has to come up with something. Otherwise, f6 and he's down the piece, and that's exactly what happens. I'm not taking on c3 because I don't need it, because then he'll just take. Okay, I'll have some pressure against this pawn, but again, this knight is now trapped. And there are not a lot of moves. Yeah, this is one of those. I just take and pretend that there is nothing he can do. Rook c8 is played, and now if bishop goes back, I take on c3. Now at some point I might go king f7 or king f7 to protect e6 pawn. Queen b3 can be played potentially, but then you know a5. This just a5 and knight d2. So now I gotta maybe play king f7. Again, I don't really worry about this. He'll play c4. That's probably the only option he's got, but again, won't really help him. He will have some counterplay for sure, but it won't be serious. I'll play h3, g3, bishop g4. That's one of the ideas that might happen. But yeah, c4 looks kinda strong. Queen b8, you know, c5, bishop c7. Now my pieces look kinda passive, but at the same time, you know, I got this g5 idea, this. And at some point, you know, this might be again very strong for black pieces, because then I gotta play against this pawn, maybe even bishop g4 and g5 after. But I think g5, g4 right away, you know, should work well, because then, you know, takes, and what he's going to do kinda interests me a lot, because knight e5 I just take on e5 with every piece, pawn on c5 will be cannon, he can't do any pins, so a very good position for black. Again, you know, it's 7 minutes into this episode and the game is still going on, but he's getting lower and lower in time. Unfortunately for him, very good for me, but you know, I just want to finish it probably. So it's like, you know, time. I just want to be done, and now I want to play king f7. The idea of king f7 is just basically escape d5 ideas. And at the same time now I'm threatening this, and if d5 is played at any point I just take on d5 on my pawn. If bishop c4 with d5, that will be a little bit more complicated, but I think I still got this. d5 knight f4 takes king g7, and then, you know, I take everything on f4 and it should be alright again. So let's see what he will come up with, but for now we're kinda safe. He's down to 4 minutes, and as you can see I haven't spent even 2 minutes. So, you know, I'm playing, I'm kinda getting pressed right now, because, you know, he's still got some counterplay even though I'm a piece. So let's just wait for his moves, but yeah, I know everyone's bored, you probably want to see the next game, and me too, I want to play the next game as well, because I know that I'll win this one. Alright, rook a e1. Now again pressing this pawn. And now maybe h3, but then g4, you know, I want to be safe again. Don't want to repeat myself, but I gotta play a bit more careful right now. This. Now, fortunately for me, he can't do much here. I mean, because my h4 pawn blocks this g3 square, otherwise, you know, this would be very, very interesting for white. But now, this pawn actually is used as a good blocker. He can play bishop d3, you know, and then try to trade this bishop, but then, you know, probably knight g6 and then take stakes, and this knight protects my king very well, and I don't have any problems. And he spent 1 minute on last move, so he's lost to his 3 minutes. I'm probably going to run his clock down. Let's see. Alright, b3 was played again. The move which, I mean, at this point all those moves don't make sense, so you'll just probably see the rest of the game real quick. Alright, bishop b3, and again probably knight g6 now works fine, you know, I'm attacking pawn on f4 and he's down to his last 1.5 minutes, so let's see what happens. Alright, bishop d3 is now played on the board, and now I'm probably thinking of this rook e8 move, and the idea is that after bishop f5, e takes f5, there is beautiful pin on e file. He can probably go queen h5 to attack f5, but again, you know, my pieces are all safe. I should easily win the game considering the fact that he has 13 seconds and we are going to win this game, and it's win number 33. Let's go. It's a win. We move on to the next game of this episode. Let's go. Alright, 16-14 we're playing against Atra from Canada as well. So let's see, knight f3. When did the guy join? Alright, and he plays Petrov. Really interesting. Are we able to go in for checkmate attack against him? Let's check. Bishop e7, bishop e3, bishop e6, queen d2, castle, long castle, and you know, we potentially get position with long castles. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted to get here. And again, bishop f5, one of the main lines. And I'm not sure why he's going for this specific approach, but I think it's not that cool. Because yeah, he has this h6 move, which actually is really good, I think. But then, you know, maybe bishop d3 and try to go for... My idea is probably go king b1, bishop h6, and then take, and maybe bishop d3. So we'll... Oh, but now, you know, g-file is opened. Now I don't think he will survive for long. Especially after this move, because now knight is kind of trapped, and knight h4. You know, queen g4, and I don't think he survives. Yep. And basically right now I have simple idea, go bishop d4, I attack this pawn on g7, or I can, I mean yeah, now because this knight is not going anywhere unfortunately for black pieces. It's just surprisingly very bad. You know, queen g3 can be easily played, and now again I don't let this knight escape from h4 square, and it can't go anywhere unless this queen is just distracted from g3, and you know, the only available square is f3, but even if knight jumps to f3, I mean, no escape squares. This is why you should not move your pieces that far, and you shouldn't really... He tried to attack my queen, he wanted me to blunder it, but then, you know, it turns out that this knight is not going anywhere soon, and that's a win number 34. Unfortunately, yeah, it's just very bad here. So let's just see what he'll be doing, but he might probably just resign. Alright, queen d7 was played, and now I think it's quite safe to take on h4. If we take on h4, we have two bishops for one of those rooks. And basically bishop c4 is also a threat right now, and he is not careful enough, and now he is losing the game. So unfortunately for black pieces, it's complete disaster. It's win number 34. That was an easy one. Let's move to the last game of this episode. Alright, are we able to get our 35th win of this series? Let's find out. We're playing against opponent from Macedonia, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, North Macedonia to be exact. 16-19, we're sitting at 16-28 rapid rating. So let's see, we're having some Catalan here on the board. We'll try to play c5, knight e4, f5, maybe going for stonewall kind of thing. So d takes c5, knight c5, b4, knight d4, you know, safe, knight d4 is the other option. Maybe b6, bishop b7, and then knight d4, f5. You know, get things like this. I don't like knight d3 move. It's not a necessary move. His idea is maybe to take and place his knight to e4, but I mean, right now it's just a complete domination for black pieces, because then let's say takes, I might just take, and if knight a5 is played, I'll just play rook b8, and if knight b7, rook b7, you know, it's, I think it's safe to say that, you know, I don't have a lot of troubles. You know, I might play knight b6, knight c4. I have some pressure on b file. If knight ever goes back, no, take on b2, then take. And I don't think he has a lot of things to do here. a6 pawn is kind of weak. Yeah, now I was thinking of just rook b2 and then takes. If knight d2, I go knight f6. Or even f5, knight c4, rook b8, knight d6, or queen d6, I just take and go to the endgame. So we're up a pawn. I'm now threatening to take here, and if he's not careful enough, no, queen c1, knight d2, I'll win the queen, yep. So that's why this move was played, and now I was thinking of rook b8. You know, get this rook some, you know, defense. And now basically, yeah, if takes, knight g5, I go knight f6, I protect everything, this pawn is potentially under attack. Knight f6, knight c4, I go rook e2. Again, I gotta be careful just not to get my rook trapped. But as far as I see right now, queen d1 actually is a good move, and I'll have to play something like rook b8, I think. Yeah, actually rook e2 is a bad move, and let's see if he finds this one. Maybe I'll have something, but now after this trade, I guess it's just over. I got 2 pawns, and you know, this endgame doesn't fight for white pieces. And again, you know, we got a very difficult first game, and now the previous one easy win with white pieces, and now this one looks very easy to win, because after queen d6 I think he will have some serious troubles with this knight. And if queen c3, you know, queen d4 might be played, getting 2 pass pawns in the endgame should be, you know, good enough. And now queen d1, queen f5, and you know, how is he going to protect this knight? I don't see good defense except for f4, but then, you know, I might just take knight f3 and rook b2 will be played. Oh, and now I just take, and now I'm just up a piece, e3 will be threatened. I think it's very close to resignable position, even though we had a very difficult first game. 2 other ones are quite easy, we're getting those wins. So let's just check if he resigns on next move. Alright, 3, 2, 1, and it's win number 35, and we're close, very close to be 1650, which will cross in next episode. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your feedback in the comments. I'll see you in next episodes. Bye bye.